Hi everybody, it's Gemma. Welcome back to Pampered Wolf. Today I'm going to be doing a full Drugstore super sparkly New Year's Eve eye. So if you are wanting to know how I created this look and what products I used, then please keep watching. Okay, so first of all, I'm only going to show you on camera how I created the eye look. I'm going to do the rest of my makeup off camera, otherwise this video would be super long. So I'm just going to show you the eye look. I will link all the products that I've used in the description box below along with their prices, so that if you want to know what foundation I've used, etc., you will be able to find out. So let's get on with it. Okay, so the serums and the moisturizers are already in place, and I'm going to prime the eyelids using the same product that I always use, which is the P.LOUISE Base in the shade 01. And I use quite a bit of product. And just get that all over the lid. So once I've done the base, I'm going to move straight onto eyeshadows. Now the eyeshadow palette I'm going to be using today, because I've said that I'm going to keep this affordable for absolutely every pocket, is going to be by Revolution. This is the Soph palette in Extra Spice. Mine is absolutely covered in fingerprints because it's well used. Really should have wiped it down, shouldn't I? It would have looked far nicer, but anyway, it is what it is. So the colours in this palette are absolutely beautiful. We're just going to be using the brown shades in this look, and it's really just a base for all the glitters that we're going to be using after the eyeshadows. So let's get cracking. I'm going to go straight into the shade Cookie Dough here, which is a really beautiful transition shade and suits absolutely everybody, no matter what colour eye you've got. So I'm just going to go in with a fluffy brush. These are quite powdery, these shadows, but they're quite nicely pigmented. So I'm just going to put that in the outer V. Now because I'm doing my eyeshadow first and doing the rest of my makeup second, you can be a little bit messier because you can clean up afterwards. It's not like you've got to do this absolutely perfectly because you've already done your foundation and the rest of your products. So I'm just at the moment patting the eyeshadow in place just so that we've got it in the right place. And then once it's in the right place, I'm just going to take the same brush, which is quite a fluffy brush, hold it right at the end and just do circular movements up and out. Just blend that in place. It's such a nice neutral colour, this. Really nice transition shade. Okay, so after we've done the transition shade, we're just going to dip into this shade here, which is called Lakes. It's just a slightly deeper brown. We're just going to deepen up that outer crease. Pat the product on to begin with, so we've got it in place. So we're going to do the outer edge and just a little bit of the outer crease. And then just blend that in nicely. Moving into the eye. These shadows are absolutely beautiful, by the way. If you haven't tried Revolution shadows, they are so super cheap, well worth every single penny, and the formulas are absolutely beautiful. There are a few that I've tried that are a little bit more difficult to blend out, but then I've had those problems with high-end shadows as well, so I really like the Revolution shadows. And the last shade I'm going to use for shadows is this really dark brown shade down here. It's called Brownies. This is actually the shade that I usually do a liner with when I'm using this palette, but I'm actually going to put this on the lid today. And I'm just going to pop it right on the outer V just to deepen that outer edge even more. Now because we're using glitters today, and glitters in quite a big way, if you really struggle with shadows, you can skip this stage altogether. I just like to add a little bit more dimension to the crease But if you've got the perfectly shaped eye to begin with, you don't need to do all these shadows. You can just go straight into glitter if that's what you decide to do. We'll just blend that into the centre of the eye. And then finally, I'm going to take a fluffy brush and just go all over that area just to make sure that everything's blended out nicely. Don't pay too much attention to the centre of the lid because that's going to be covered in glitter, so it can be a little bit messier in there, but you just want to make sure that the outer edges are blended in nicely because they're the areas that you're going to be able to see. I actually really like this just as it is on its own. If you don't want to go the whole hog and apply the glitters, maybe you find glitters really difficult to apply, or maybe you're a bit frightened of glitters and think they might be a bit much on your skin, you can go with the same palette and maybe apply Every Day or Dreams to the centre of the lid just to add a little bit of dimension and a little bit of sparkle. It would look absolutely beautiful. I like to use the shade Infinity to highlight the inner corner and it looks stunning. This palette is so universal. You have the muted shade, so you have lots of browns, but you can also add so much colour to the lid. It's just a really, really nice palette. Very, very versatile. Okay, so before we go ahead and apply the glitter to the lid, I'm going to apply a little bit of liner. This is the Lottie London Stamp Liner. It's like a felt tip liner and it's absolutely excellent. Never had an issue with this. So I'm going to apply this to the lid. You always want to do this first before you apply glitters because it's very, very difficult to apply an eyeliner on top of glitter. Doesn't show up very well, and also it's a little bit bumpy, so it's very, very difficult to get a straight line on top of glitter. So I always do it beforehand. Okay, so after you've done your liner, it's time to move on to glitter. I am so super excited about having a glitter eye today. I tend to go for more of a natural makeup most days, but I just feel like New Year's is one of those days where you can get away with a lot more. Now, if you decide to go to the supermarket with a glitter eye, by the way, you are my hero. I love you. That is completely fine, but I tend to just save the glitter for more special occasions. I really, really like to see your glitter eye looks, by the way. So if you want to post them on my Instagram page, I would really like to see those, especially if you're in the middle of a supermarket. That would make my day. So I like to use a palette where I dispense all my glitters on there. I can mix them together if I want more of an ombre look, and I also put my glue on the palette as well. It just means that every single surface does not get covered in glitter, and I don't get covered in glitter absolutely everywhere either, because I'll be finding it for weeks in places that I did not put the glitter in the first place. So I like to use a palette. So the glitter glue that I'm going to be using today is by NYX. This is their glitter primer. It's cheap as chips. I will link all the products that I'm using today in the description box below, and I will also link all their prices as well. And the glitters that I'm going to be using today are also from NYX. One's silver, one's bronze. So the bronze one is in GLI08 bronze, and the silver one is GLI10 in silver. So I'm just going to dispense a little bit of both glitters on my palette and also a bit of the glitter primer onto my palette, and we're going to get started. So the brushes that I'm going to use to actually apply the glue and the glitter are from Zoeva. I'm going to use the winged liner brush, so that's the 317, and also the spot liner brush, which is the 310. Now the spot liner brush has got such a small head on there, and it's so accurate when you're applying your glitter, as is the winged liner brush. You can use whatever you like. If you choose to use a cotton bud, you can use a cotton bud, but I prefer to use something with a flat end to it because I find it's easier to apply the glitter. So I'm going to take the winged eyeliner brush and I'm just going to apply the tiniest bit of glitter just in the center of the lid. You don't want to be applying it all over the lid just yet because this stuff dries down really, really fast. So if you apply everything, you'll end up having to apply more and it will look a little bit chunky. So I'm just going to apply the glue just above where we put the liner. get it all the way up to the crease. So I've just applied the smallest amount, if you can see. I'm going to apply a little bit of the bronze glitter to the end of the brush and just tap that in place. You get such a beautiful payoff with this NYX glitter. It's so nice. And I'm going to apply a little bit more of the bronze glitter in the center. And then as we get towards a little bit more towards the corner of the eye, I'm mixing both glitters together. So I've got a bit of silver and a bit of bronze. And I'm just going to apply that to start the ombre effect. Really apply the glue very sparingly, because otherwise it just ends up in a little bit of a mess. And then I'm going to apply the last bit of glitter glue just on that inner lid. And I'm going to apply just silver to the inner part. Gorgeous. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So once you've done that, you're going to want to clean up before you apply the rest of your makeup. And the way that I do that is by using sellotape, or I'm not quite sure what you call this in the US. Do you call it sellotape? I don't know. Anyway. Roll it round your hand, sticky side up. And then just make sure you take any of the excess glitter off your cheeks using the sellotape. You will thank me later, believe me. And then if you've got any loose bits of glitter on the lid, just really lightly just take those off with the sellotape. So I'm going to go and do the rest of my makeup, and then I'm going to come back and do the lower lash line. Okay, so I'm back and I've tried to keep everything as cheap as possible. Everything is from the drugstore, the foundation, the bronzer, the blush, the lipstick, absolutely everything, all is right with the world. So I'm going to go back into the Soph palette in Extra Spice, and I'm just going to smoke out that lower lash line. We're not going to add too much sparkle because I think the glitter on the top lid speaks for itself. So I'm just going to take a really small brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Cookie Dough, which is the first shade we went into. And I'm just going to apply that to the entire of the lower lid. Then I'm going to go into the second shade we went into, which is the Lakes, right over here. And I'm just going to apply a tiny weeny bit to the outer corner. And just blend that into the shadow above on the upper lid. I think that's pretty much it, but I'm just going to go into the shade Infinity, which is the seriously sparkly shade on the top row of the shadows. And I'm just going to pop that in the inner corner, just in case we've not got enough highlight with the glitter. I'm going to use my e.l.f. No Budge Retractable Liner, and I'm going to do the tight line, and the waterline, Then I'm going to add a little bit of the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara to the bottom lashes. Just one coat should do it. The lipstick that I've got on today is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Lipstick in the shade 125, which is Born to Blush, and this stuff stays on all day. I have done a review about this. If you want to see it, I will link it up here for you, but it's an excellent lipstick. So this is the finished look, a full face of Drugstore Glam, Glam, Glam. So if you are wanting to bring in the new year with a touch of sparkle, maybe a lot of sparkle, then you might want to give this a go. Let me just come up close and show you the eye really closely. How glitzy is that? This is so super fun, and I'm going to the supermarket in a bit like this, and people are going to be looking at me like, really? And I don't care. So if you've liked this video, if you found it helpful in any way, then please do give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget, I'm also on Instagram. It's Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces, if you want to follow me on there as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. There is a watermark in this corner. If you click on it, it will take you through to my homepage where you can subscribe. Hope to see you all again soon. Have a good time. Bye.